All right, we're going to be talking about tapping today. Tapping on the fingerboard like you saw me doing. Now, I just want to warn you, if you don't do this a lot, you got to be careful with this hand. You're going to get a, like a better word, a blister, which I have developing on my finger, which is kind of slowing me down a little bit in doing these lessons correctly. I am a former tapper. I used to tap quite a bit when I was younger. I'm 54 now and just don't find it as useful as it used to be. But hey, we can find some really good uses for it. So first, we're going to start talking about what are you exactly doing when you're tapping on your guitar. Are you're essentially hammering on, just like you hammer on with this finger. You're just adding the tap, and you're hammering on with that finger. Now, there are times, because our hands, we're not picking the notes so much that we're going to have to rely on our fingers to do things that they don't normally do. And I've got exercises here on our documents that are going to help with this. So I'm going to recommend initially you start out by just doing, without any picking, down a pentatonic scale. I've got it set up here. I don't have it back up on our thing. I'll change that on our document that I send. But literally hammer pull to the first finger. We're using the G shape of the C major pentatonic or the A minor pentatonic. Hammer. You won't be doing that so much when you're doing our tapping techniques, but it's a good thing to be able to do, honey. You guys everybody knows this. Play that song. Play that's Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Something to that nature, okay? So we need to learn how to do that. Now the next step would be to take that same thing we're doing with our fingers, we're going to switch over to do this finger. So I'm going to recommend maybe you bar the first fret or the fifth fret. Do the same thing with your finger. Now I use my second finger to tap because I'm usually holding a pick, but you can use your first finger, your third finger, doesn't matter. Eddie Van Halen used to I think he used to hold his pick in his right hand, or in his right hand between those fingers, so he had this finger to tap with. He did some really cool things with that, but you can switch it, you can hold it. I like to use my second finger because my pick is always handy. So when you do something with a sweep, maybe you can do a sweep and tap. So I would recommend second finger. Now I'm getting that little blister, but just practice that tapping. There's an example in your documents of us doing. You literally hammer, pull, hammer, pull. So you can see that a little better. Get my pinky out of the way. Kind of hard to get a good angle on that, isn't it? But that's essentially what you're doing when you're tapping. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to rehearse several things, and then I'm going to demonstrate them as I go. So it's going to take me a little bit of time. All right? Thank you. First technique is not very easy. I always say that. It's not that easy. It gets kind of difficult. But it's a bend, and then you're going to tap a bent note. So we're going to bend the 7th fret. It's in our examples. 7th fret. Full bend, okay? Now, because we've bent the note, where we tap is also going to be risen up a whole step, right? So the note I'm actually tapping is a G, because this D has been bent to E. So you're going to bend the 7th fret, tap the 10th, release it, and release the bend. Pretty easy lick, I think, but you gotta practice it to make it good. Make could go all over the neck and do that. It could kind of fun. I'm tapping between the 10th fret and the 12th fret, tapping an A. A lot of ways you can approach that one. All right, on one string, what I'm going to do right now is I'm playing kind of like it's out of the G shape of the cage shapes, major and minor, so it's going to be in C major. But I'm going to play one note out of this thing. So I like to start my sequence by actually picking with your tapping finger. Pick. Rather than having a pick in your hand, which you could do that, right? If you're using that finger to tap with, you could pick. But you can also just, since I'm getting a little worn out on my fingertip here, I'm going to be using my first finger for the... So it's a triplet feel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now you can do that with two different notes. You can tap the D, and at the 12th fret, tap the E the next time. You go really fast doing that because you're not picking anything. Like that's one of the reasons tapping, I think, is so popular. Now there's another way to approach this. I'm going to play it across a couple chords. I'm going to start using the open E note, pulling that. It's a 4-note feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now I can also just drop down a half step and use the 4th fret, 5th fret, and 7th fret on the E string. And you get kind of an E7, not kind of, you get an E7 feel for that chord. So they're very, very good chords to play together, right? So we can play. Got a little fancy there, did a little slide in the middle of it, but that's using it over 2 chords. Okay, pretty simple technique. All right. Now we're going to start doing things on 2 different strings. Now, the exercise I'm going to have you do to get better at this quickly is you're going to pick the note with your finger. It's written on the paper. You're going to pick, right? When we go to the next string, you're going to hammer down with your pinky really hard. Or if you're not willing to use your pinky that freely, use your 3rd finger, I guess. But I'm going to use my pinky. So I'm hammering the 8th fret of the B string and then tapping above. See, my accuracy is really important. You got to get right on top of that. Okay, now we're going to extend this down the fingerboard, hopefully. Away we go. We're going to start using a hammer and a tap down the fingerboard, okay? And I'm using my 1st finger now because my 2nd finger is pretty much trashed. So here we go. Let's see if we can do this. Don't get your arm in the way, which I just did. So okay, now we're going to try a lick that keeps repeating one note over and over again. So this is the 17th fret on your guitar. It's an A note. On the low E string or the high E string, it's an A. And we're going to tap that note, and then pull it off to the note underneath it, which in this case, the note's a G. So it'd be the 15th fret, 13th fret, 12th, 10th, 8th, and back up again, climbing. Picking technique. We're going to add a tap to that, okay? So when we get to the 15th fret, we're going to tap the 19th fret with your finger. Really easy way to get a tap technique into a sweep. Right? Pretty cool. All right. this is the thing I was kind of most excited about to get to here, and I'm starting to wear my hands out, but I'm going to still try to attempt this. These are using the pentatonic shapes, which, like, we all know this shape for playing a solo, right? Play really easily out of that spot, right? Most of us can. It's in the key of C, pentatonic shape in the key of C, A minor and C. Well, the same thing occurs down here at the 15th, 17th fret, sorry. 12th, 17th. So now we're going to combine tapping in that shape right across the board. So you're going to tap in that same pattern and shape at the bottom. Right? Kind of a cool way to approach it. Now, going up is a little more difficult. You have to practice harder. I can't do it very well, but. A little sloppy at the top there. All right, now on to something kind of on the odd side. I'm going to combine, I'm going to play two different shapes with one hand, one with the other. So I'm going to play the G shape for my pull-off hand, and the tapping hand is going to do a C shape at the 12th fret. That shape is your tapping hand. This shape is your. This gets complicated for me, and I'm probably going to mess this up, but this is for your guys, for demonstration purposes. So this particular string, the next string, then it comes to here, right? So it's beginning of a Comfortably Numb, or the big solo in there. But I'm also going to play a G shape at the 12th fret, which is in the key of G. So I'm combining the keys of G and the key of D, or E minor and B minor, right, into two different things. Get some kind of cool tones. I'm going kind of fast there, but so we're picking up notes that we're missing these other pentatonic shapes. You can also move up to A with this finger and do the same thing. Start picking up the F sharp and all these other notes. It's kind of a cool way to approach tapping. I mean, you're not limited. You're only limited by your imagination. So the more you get good at the techniques and the ideas and the ability to pull off the techniques, you can take this anywhere you want to take it. I would recommend watching a person like Stanley Jordan play, who plays the guitar like nobody plays the guitar. He plays one thing with this hand and taps all these other cool things with these fingers. Plays solos and things. I'm not even going to make an effort to try that, but it's a really, really interesting way to approach the guitar. So tapping is tapping. I mean, it's had its heyday, and it's still useful. Watch Guthrie Govan. My God, that guy's crazy fast. At this thing. It's so accurate, but it's start slow and build up. Don't try to go too fast too soon. I mean, you want to build up and be accurate. Always be accurate. Cool. Well, I hope this works for you guys, and we'll discuss the techniques and stuff on our meeting on Thursday.